What if one of the greatest leadership lessons in history had nothing to do with motivation, charisma, or power? What if the real secret to elite leadership was hidden inside something as quiet as a tea ceremony? That sounds strange at first, especially when you think about the samurai. See, when most people hear the word samurai, they picture swords, battlefields, armor, violence. But the great samurai warriors in Japanese history understood something deeper than combat. They understood emotional control. And in today's world, that may be the leadership skill we're losing the fastest, because modern leadership rewards speed. Move faster, respond faster, react faster, think faster, work faster. Everything is urgency. Everything is reaction. Everything is noise. But the samurai believe something completely different. They believe the leader who controls himself controls the moment. That's why many samurai practice tea ceremonies before battle. Not because they were weak, not because they had nothing better to do, not because they were soft, but because they understood the psychological power of calm. See, the tea ceremony forced them to slow down, to breathe, to focus, to become fully present. Every movement had intention. Every action required awareness. And this mattered because battle destroys distracted minds. See, when chaos erupts, emotional people panic. Reactive people collapse. But centered people lead. Samurai trained the opposite. They trained emotional discipline before conflict ever arrived. That's important because leadership under pressure is never built in the moment. Pressure exposes preparation. That's why the calmest person in the room often becomes the most trusted. Think about the leaders people naturally follow during uncertainty. It's rarely the loudest person, rarely the most dramatic, rarely the person talking the most. People follow steadiness, calm communication, safety. And neuroscience actually supports this. When leaders panic, teams subconsciously absorb that emotional state. The brain mirrors emotional behavior. That means anxiety spreads, fear spreads, stress spreads, but calm spreads too. This is why elite military groups train breathing under stress, why athletes train mental focus, why high performers work on emotional regulation. The samurai understood this centuries ago. The external battle is rarely the hardest battle. The internal battle is. Can you stay focused when fear arrives? Can you think clearly when pressure rises? Can you stay disciplined when emotions want control? That is leadership. And honestly, many modern workplaces reward the opposite. People confuse urgency with importance. They confuse noise with leadership. They confuse emotional intensity with strength. But the samurai understood true power is controlled power. That's why their discipline extended beyond combat. Their rituals shaped identity. Tea ceremonies taught them patience. Sword training taught them precision. Meditation taught them awareness. Everything reinforced mental clarity. And that's something most leaders desperately need right now, because distraction is destroying leadership. Listen, modern leaders are overstimulated constantly. Phones, notifications, meetings, stress, pressure, comparison. The average person rarely experiences mental stillness anymore. And without stillness, clarity disappears. The samurai understood that a distracted mind becomes a dangerous mind. Not dangerous because it's aggressive. Dangerous because it makes poor decisions. And leadership is ultimately decision making. Small decisions, big decisions, pressure decisions, people decisions. That's why emotional control is not weakness, it's a strategic advantage. And here's the irony. The strongest leaders often appear the calmest. Not because they feel no fear, but because they've trained themselves not to be ruled by it. That's what separates elite warriors from emotional fighters. One reacted, the other responded. There's a difference. Reaction is emotional impulse. Response is intentional control. And your leadership quality is often hidden inside that gap. The space between stimulus and response. Can you pause? Can you think? Can you stay grounded? Or do emotions make every decision for you? That's the real leadership test. And maybe that's why the samurai tea ceremony still matters. Because it reminds us that leadership is not just external performance, it's internal mastery. And in a world addicted to speed, distraction, and reaction, calm may become the rarest leadership skill of all. So the next time life becomes chaotic, the next time pressure rises, the next time stress tries to take over your thinking, remember the samurai. Not the sword, but a cup of tea. Think about the stillness, because the leader who controls himself can often lead others through almost anything. If you're looking for real insights, check out my podcast, Collaborative Leadership, on Spotify, and go to my website, Loader Lead, and check out free resources I have to help you step up your leadership game. The links are in the description.